Welcome in our second video of arrays. In the previous video, we just looked at the concept of arrays. And of course, we finished that video by looking at how we can declare arrays in Fortran. One thing that I would like to point out is our declaration statements, we had at the end semicolon. We don't need to have this in Fortran, so just omit them. I've seen that I added a semicolon here, but they're not supposed to be there. Okay, and as we continue with the declaration, there's also a semicolon on this statement that should be omitted. The rest of the statements are okay. So we're saying, as I pointed out before, that when you are declaring or you are using arrays in Fortran, the default subscript, or what we call the indices, the default subscripts start from 1. So if you have declared for 10 integers, then it will start from 1 up to 10. But of course, this can be altered if you want to by specifying in your dimension attribute. When you are declaring your variable, before we are just specifying the number. If you just put the number inside the dimension attribute, then this 5 is the number of elements that you want. So the indices or the subscripts will start from 1 to that number you have specified here. But sometimes you may want to alter. For example, here, if we want to start our indices from 0 instead of 1, then we can have 0:4. It means for us to access elements for this array, then we'll be using positions 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 4. And this, if you can see, it means our array is of size 5, because it's starting from 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. 5 elements. And here's another one. If you want to start your indices from 11, maybe to 60, then you can have, we have declared 3 arrays, and all of them will have the indices from 11 up to 60. So this is an array of 50 elements, or these are arrays of 50 elements, but their indices, the elements for each, will be placed on positions 11 up to 60. So if you try to access an element there using maybe position 0 or 1 or what, will not work. It will be out of scope, because you specified that the applicable positions for these arrays should be from 11 up to 60. That's 50 elements. And here we're also showing you that we can also have even the indices from negatives. So you can specify from -20 up to -1. This one is declaring 20 elements, and we will have negatives, -20 up to -1. And this one, we are starting from negative to positive. So -9 up to 10. So this is how you can alter the default behavior of your subscripts. An array constant consists of entirely constants. So it's an array that is consisting entirely of constants. So you can declare an array and you can specify the elements, because the elements or the values of an array can come from somewhere, can come from the user, as we are going to see, can come from a file, can come from the database, can come from anywhere. And that data, when it comes, it can be initialized into our array. But here we are saying, when you have created your array or declared your array, you can specify the array constants. So these are like values that you have initialized your array with. So it is defined by pressing the constant values between special delimiters. So the special delimiters, what we call array constructors, if you have those special delimiters, we have 2 types of them. The first one, it uses the bracket and slash as opening part of the delimiter, and the bracket and plus as closing part of the delimiter. or you can just use this one, which is a square bracket, opening and closing square bracket. So the first one is the older version, and it is supported or is mostly available on the existing programs from the previous generations. So the legacy systems mostly will be having this syntax of using these brackets, unlike using this. So we'll be using the delimiter here or this one. But in this class, we are going to be mixing some examples. I'll be showing using this one, and other examples I'll be using this one. I just want you to be comfortable with both, because you never know the type of code that you're going to encounter when you go to the industry. Probably it might be written by somebody who likes this format, and they should be able to actually recognize that. So with the array constants, there's an implied do that can be used to initialize all the constants of that array, instead of specifying one by one. But like here we have said this array constant, or this array will have values 1, 2, 3 up to 5 as actual values. You can use the do while, which in this case is a special do while, a do statement, which you specify inside, and it initializes. So here we are saying I equals 1 up to I equals 10. So in other words, we want to start iterating from 1 up to 10, and in each iteration this statement should be executed. So so in the first iteration we are going to get 1, in the second one we are going to get 2 up to 10. So here, in other words, we are creating an array of 10 elements, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 10. Yeah, so that's what this statement is going to do. So we're going to have an array of 10 elements, and here how many elements are we, or what will be the array values for this? You can have a try. You can just try somewhere. Just think about it and try about this. We are opening here, we have -1, comma, then we have this part, comma, 1 at the end, then we close the delimiters. What do you think this would give us? Think about it. Yeah, think. Yeah, anyway, but reason about this. Okay, let me disclose something. Okay, anyway, it's going to show -1. Then in between is going to show elements from index 2 up to index 49. Is going to be showing 0, 0, 0, 0. It's going to iterate I2, then it's going to write 0. I3, 0. I4, 0. Up to I49, 0. Here we're saying I1 is going to write I, which is 1. I2, it is going to write I, which is 2 up to 10. So this one should give us -1, comma, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, up to the 49th one, then 1. Okay, so you can also do your declaration and assign immediately the constants, as we have done here. So we have made a declaration and we are making an assignment immediately, and this one is from 1 up to 50, and we are initializing everything to 0. Here for the integers 25, what would be the output for this, or what would be constructed from here? Yeah, this is also interesting one that I think you can think about and try to reason and come up with an output for this. Remember, here we are showing you that there are two loops, or the two two statements. We have the first one by this bracket and another one here. So what happens? What will happen? Think about it. Okay, maybe just in passing, let's try to do something. Here, this is the inner statement. This is the outer statement. In other words, this is inner loop, this is outer loop. So, for each outer loop, it's going to be executing this statement. For each iteration in the outer loop, it's going to be executing this statement. For example, the first iteration of j, where will be j equals 1. At that point, j equals 1 is going to execute this. It will be j plus 5. But before it executes this one has to be executed first. So we are going to have 0 from 1 to 4. Then we have this number. Then it will go into another loop. So we are going to have 5. Then another loop. We are going to have 10. But here it will just be displaying zeros 1 to 5. Think about it and try to come up with something before you watch the next video, where I'm going to disclose the actual values that are going to be displayed here. I would like you to think about this and try to construct the output, how it is going to be displayed, or the structure in this format of the elements for this array. Okay, so yeah, I think we can stop here before we start the new section. I want you to think about this. Then in the next video, I'm going to I'll just show you the output of this. But the simple explanation that I've given you should give you a hint. See you in the next video.